In reading today for ELA, we're going to continue talking about our letter to our uncle. Yesterday, we started asking and answering more questions about life here in the colonies. So we are pretending that we are colonists, and we received a letter from our uncle, and he's asking us lots of questions about life in the colonies. He asked us, how was the boat ride? He asked us, what type of shelter have you created? He asked us, what type of food are you eating? And he asked us, what activities are you doing to have fun? The last 2 days, we started looking at resources like books on Mayan and Epic, and we started answering those questions. We started thinking about details we know about life in our community in the colonies. Well, today is an exciting day because we get to start thinking about our letter that we are going to write back to our uncle. Today, our focus is on writing a friendly letter.
Welcome to day 1 of your friendly letter writing. Today's goal is that you can generate a draft by developing, selecting, and organizing ideas relevant to the topic, purpose, and genre. What that means, a draft is the first copy. So today you will be making a first copy of your friendly letter. Your purpose is to write a family member back home after you've traveled to the new world.
So our success criteria today, you are successful today if you can make your first copy of a letter that you're going to think of details, organize those details, and write it. Today we're going to talk about what is a letter, what parts make up a letter, and how can we make a letter to a family member. We're going to begin by reviewing the parts of a letter. We're going to start with the vocabulary.
I wanna say what's up, I wanna send my love, I wanna wish you well, I gotta write you a letter, write you a letter, do you have a fax machine? Nah, a letter.
Email is convenient, you click a few buttons, what's better than a letter though? Nothing, typed or handwritten, put some effort in it, they're pretty similar. Not that different, they both are forms of communication. A way to get in touch, say what up, what's shaking. The person you are writing to is the recipient, like family, celebrities, politicians, or kittens. Okay, let's get down to the nitty-grit. Letters have 5 parts, the first of which is the heading. Your name, address, and the date. It goes on the right at the top of the page. The second part that you'll be needing is the greeting. It's how you say hello to whoever is reading. Also, it's important to know, if it's a business letter, use their title. Keep it formal, like Dear Mr. Anderson, good day, Miss Russell. For friends, it's cool to write yo, what up, cuzzo. Also, remember this, and there won't be a problem. Capitalize the greeting and end it with the comma.
I wanna say what's up, I wanna send my love, I wanna wish you well, I gotta write you a letter, write you a letter, what about a telegram? Nah, a letter.
So here we are at the body, the letter's third part. You know, when you go ahead and spill your heart, it can be long or short, whatever you want. If you're writing your friends, say some silly stuff. Make an inside joke only they will get. That way they'll have a good laugh when they read it. And when you've said all that you have to say, the fourth step is at a closing to the page. It's a short phrase used to wrap things up, like yours truly, or
this message will self-destruct.
Again, remember so there won't be a problem. Capitalize the closing and end it with the comma. The fifth part, the last thing to do is add your signature and make it cool, kid. But don't overthink it or strain your brain. It's just a fancy way of writing your name. And there you have it. You wrote a whole letter, top to bottom, 5 parts together.
I wanna say what's up. I wanna send my love. I wanna wish you well. I gotta write you a letter, a letter, a letter. Write you a letter, a letter, a letter. Maybe an email. Nah, a letter, a letter, a letter.
Remind me again why we can't just send an email?
So today we're focusing on writing a letter to a family member back in England. And we know our family member is our uncle. So today we are going to practice writing our first copy of a letter. In the vocabulary, we heard a little bit about the parts of a letter. There are 5 parts to a letter that we're going to learn about and you are going to show in your letter. Next, we're going to watch a brain pop about writing a letter.
Dear Emma, today I scored my first goal at soccer. I'm writing a letter. A letter, you know, like a message you send to someone? No, more like a friendly letter. How do you write a friendly letter? There are tons of ways to communicate with people. Talking, phone calls, text messages, emails, instant messaging, and letters are all ways to communicate. A friendly letter can tell about your day, how you feel, or it can even be a thank you note. For me? Sweet. A letter has 5 parts. The first part is the heading. It has the address, which shows where it came from. This letter is from my friend Emma, who lives in New York City. And it shows the date, too. Let's see. Emma wrote this last week. The second part is the greeting. Right. A greeting can start with hi, hello, hey, what's up? This letter starts with Dear Annie. You put a comma after the name in a friendly letter. The third part is the body. That's the main part of the letter. The body of Emma's letter is all about how she lost a tooth. The fourth part of the letter is the closing. That's a short phrase that ends the letter, like, your friend, love, keep in touch. Right, Moby. The closing ends with a comma too, just like the greeting. The last part is the signature. This is where the writer signs his or her name. Emma knows how to sign her name in cursive. I know I've seen letters that look different from this one. How do you write a business letter?
We're going to pause there, boys and girls, because today we are really focusing on writing a friendly letter. When you write a letter, you need to know what is the purpose. Our purpose is writing to our pretend Uncle Thomas George. So when we write a friendly letter, when we write to someone we know, like a friend or family member, it can be more casual. We can use words like, hey, what's up, like we heard in the brain pop. A friendly letter has 5 parts. We're going to talk about what those 5 parts are. Go ahead and join me on Seesaw, please. Click on Activities, Assign to Class folder, Red ELA. Our task today is called Pilgrim's Friendly Letter Back Home. On slide 1, you will see the parts to a friendly letter. Here is our success criteria. Today is day 1 of this task, and it says I can generate a draft by developing, selecting, and organizing ideas relevant to a topic, purpose, or genre. We know that means I can make the first draft of a friendly letter. Right here, we have how to write a friendly letter. There are 5 parts to a letter. Number 1 is called the heading. You should have the date that you wrote the letter. Number 2 is called the greeting. It's how you greet somebody. When I see you in person, I might say, good morning or hello. So when you write a letter, you need to greet the person. This one says, Dear Mr. Childs. That's the greeting. Number 3 is really the most important part. Number 3 is called the body. We have talked about the body when we talk about paragraphs. Number 3 is the body. It's the meat. It's the good stuff of the letter. It's where all of your sentences go. Number 4 is called the closing. It's sort of like a conclusion. The closing in this one says, your student. It's a way to say goodbye. And finally, the last part of this letter, number 5, is the signature. That means you sign your name so they know who it's from. Number 5 is the signature. We are going to go into a breakout room, and I want you to talk with your partner or group about what you understand about the 5 parts to a friendly letter. At the end of tomorrow, you will have created a letter to our Uncle Thomas, and then I am going to grade your letter. How am I going to grade your letter? We're going to look at the rubric right now, and I'm going to play a video. We're going to listen to the video to see how will you be graded.
Here is the rubric that you will be used to grade your friendly letter. You will get points for having the date, the greeting, the closing, and the signature, which is your name. The body, you will get points that it describes your journey, what it was like on the boat, that you describe the shelter that you have created, the food that you eat, and that you describe what you do for fun. You will also get points for correct capitalization, that your spellings make sense, punctuation, and spelling. It is worth a total of 27 points.
When your letter is finished, I am going to use this rubric to grade your letter. So when I see Day's letter, I'm going to see, does Day have the date? Yes or no? Does Jasmine have a greeting in her letter? Yes or no? Does Jose have a closing and his signature? Yes or no? I'm going to use this to grade you when you are done with your letter. So now that we know what the parts of a letter are, it's time for us to start looking at our letter to Uncle Thomas. On slide 1, you have the parts of the letter, which is so important, but you also have a link that you need to use today. Right over here on the left side of the screen, there is a link. This link will take you to yesterday's seesaw task. We know that we've already been thinking of details. We have already been thinking of answers to our uncle's questions. So we get to use the work we did Monday and Tuesday. When you click on this link, it will open a new Seesaw tab, and it will take you right to the We Just Got a Letter link. You can find your work here to see what details you started using for your letter. Slide 2 is your task today. It's the last slide for today. On slide 2, you will make your first draft of your friendly letter. I already see some important parts of the letter. Let's go through these together. I see number 1, it has the date for you. That's one part of a friendly letter. I see number 2, it has a greeting. It says, Dear Uncle Thomas. We now have 2 parts of a friendly letter. I see a section for the 3rd part called the body. This is where you will write all of your sentences, where you will answer his questions. Remember, he asked you 4 questions about being a colonist in the new country. He asked you, how was the boat ride? What shelters have you created? What kind of food are you eating? And what do you guys do for fun in the colonies? What do you do over there? In the body, you're going to type your sentences to tell him about life in the colonies. Don't forget, you have a link to the task from yesterday and Monday. You have the link on slide 1 right here. If you can't remember some details, you can go back and look at what you wrote Monday and Tuesday. If you think of new details today, that's okay too. Today, your job is to type your response to our uncle. You need to answer his 4 questions. Then, I spy number 4. Here's the closing. Right now, it just says closing. I want you to go in there and I want you to say your own closing. How do you want to say goodbye to your Uncle Thomas? What could you say at the end of your letter? Then, number 5, I spy the 5th part of a friendly letter. Number 5 is your name. Right now it says your name. You need to go in there and put your name. Okay? So today is your first draft Remember our success criteria? It says, I can create a draft. I can create my first copy of a friendly letter. If you forget what's supposed to be in your letter, you can click back to the rubric. These are all the things that your letter should have. You should describe the journey. How did you get there? What was it like? You should describe a shelter. What kind of homes have we built? You should describe the food. What types of food are we eating in the colonies? And you should describe the activities. What do the colonists do? How do they have fun? All of these are details you have found from our texts. If you want to read more books on Mayan, yesterday's task called We Just Got a Letter, don't forget you have access to these resources that we talked about yesterday. Right here is the link that you can click on, and it will show you books on Mayan and videos you can watch. I'm going to show you as a practice. Remember this from yesterday? All of the books that have really interesting facts and details about life in the colonies, you have this link on yesterday's task called We Just Got a Letter. So let's do a quick review of what your job is today. Your job is to do slide number 2, to write your first draft of your friendly letter to our pretend uncle. You need to describe to him what life is like in the colonies, and you need to answer those questions he asked us in his letter. If you look at slide 3, there's a big old stop sign. That's because this is for tomorrow. You only need to do slide 2 today. This should take you all of your work time today. You need to add lots of details to your letter. Remember, we're going to help him out by telling him as many details as possible so that when he comes on his ship to the new world, he's ready and he's prepared. Your job today is to complete slide 2 using your details from the text and videos we have read and watched together.